Good evening once again. It has been said of old that absolute power corrupts absolutely. And perhaps such sayings remain with us down through the ages because they are in essence quite true. Exhibit A, the ruler of an ancient kingdom, is the subject of our story, and he is driven by exploding visions of power and conquest. But what happens when such visions take the form of flesh and blood and seek to exact their own form of justice? That question is answered in our tale, which is entitled Of Malice and Kings, a story filed in the permanent archives of the Nightfall radio show. For want of a kingdom, a curse was cast. For want of vengeance, the dead must walk. The king was dead, quite dead. In life he had been called the Great One, and indeed the name of the king, which was Jatif, could be translated to mean something approximating jaguar lurking. His rule was such, and so was his eventual demise. Some would later say that the little dark man known as Albir was responsible for the entire affair. In part, I am inclined to agree, but that is neither here nor there, as we must not permit hearsay to compromise the truth. You see, Albir had in fact been royal vizier, and was learned in the ways of magic and all manner of mystic arts. For this reason, he was held in especially high regard by the king, who in truth knew little of such matters. Now it often occurred that King Jatif would wish to consult the spirits on matters of state and on personal affairs as well, as he was known from time to display more than a portion of ineptitude in both areas. Now for this consultation, Albir served as medium. The spirits spoke through him, you see, and he delivered the messages directly to the king. Now one night King Jatif decided to consult the spirits about a situation that was making him more than a little nervous. His advisors, many of whom held ill favor with him, had told him of a kingdom which lay to the west and was seeking to expand its borders. This kingdom, he was told, had even sent out raiding parties, which were known to have marauded caravans and villages all up and down the great river. Though he knew that the treachery of some of his court knew no bounds, their words in his eyes constituted a terrible threat to his kingdom. He therefore sought the advice of the spirit world about what he should do. For want of fear, a war was waged. Now it came to pass that the armies of King Jatif swept across the western countries, destroying all who stood in their path. Blood flowed like the great river, and thousands were killed. A useless tidal wave of death inspired by a paranoid despot. The armies eventually returned, bringing gold, priceless jewels, slaves, and many other spoils of conquest. Jatif was at last satisfied, as much as one such as he could be at any given time. He assumed his kingdom was safe and believed that the newly acquired wealth would ensure prosperity for the kingdom, specifically himself, for a long, long time. One day Albir was coming out of the royal court, which had been in session all morning, when he chanced to hear some muffled references to a plot to murder the king. At this he was greatly troubled, though not entirely surprised, for he knew that there were many people who had opposed, albeit privately, the harsh and unwarranted exclusionary proclamation. He too had warned the king about the degree to which his actions had been applied, that the spirits held disdain for men of such vile ambition, that they may even in fact seek to punish him. For want of restitution, the ground opens. That night, Jatif was meditating in his private chamber when a knock came on the outer door. He ignored it at first, but thought better of it and called for a guard, time froze. Then the silence of the night was shattered by a single ghastly scream. When the great door swung open, the king saw them, slaughtered in countless ways, some without heads or arms, some with eyes and great flanks of flesh gouged away. He saw blood running in one endless, horrific, great river. A legion of the dead. Soldiers, warriors, herdsmen, housemaids from across the Nephtu, the desert from above the delta, in Unadi. Vengeful dead, come to claim justice for their butchered bodies and tortured souls. Come to add one more to their ranks. And that concludes another excursion into the darkness on the Nightfall Radio Show. Thank you for listening to the program. The Nightfall Radio Show can be heard exclusively on the Blackwater Media YouTube channel. If you enjoy the show, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. If you would like to submit a short story, poem, or artwork, email your submission along with a brief bio to nightfallradioshow@mail.com. I'm your host, Dr. William Lester. I'll see you again at Nightfall.